All right. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review, specifically another Survivor Series match review. Now, previously um, we looked at NWA Jim Crockett Promotions War Games: The Match Beyond, the first ever War Games match. And we have one more War Games match to review that's coming out later on tonight. But in the meantime, I do want to get one more traditional Survivor Series match out of the way. Hey, so now we're gonna take things over to 2004. At this point in the timeline, Randy Orton has been kicked out of Evolution for daring to win the World Heavyweight Championship and not being named Triple H. So Randy Orton is and now Randy Orton has waged war on his former mentors and friends, and it's leading to this match at Survivor Series for control of Raw for a month. And so, who will prevail? Let's find out. I'm, of course, talking about Team Orton, that being Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven, aka the internet superstar nowadays, versus Team Triple H, aka Hey in a Way Evolution, that being Triple H, Batista, Edge, and Gene Snitsky, who are accompanied, of course, by the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Now, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys good time, and I must say, I had a pretty good time with this match. So, without further ado, let's get right into things. Now, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. But, how did we get here? Well, like I mentioned, Randy, ever since winning the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, has has been kicked out of Evolution and now has been essentially waging war against Evolution. He lost the championship back to Triple H, and then he also lost a steel cage. Or actually, Orton beat Ric Flair, I should say, in a steel cage match at Taboo Tuesday. Hey, I'm surprised I haven't reviewed Taboo Tuesday yet, or Cyber Sunday. I'm surprised I haven't reviewed one of those events or even a match from either of those events. But let me know if you guys do want to see that. But nevertheless, at this point, Randy Orton no longer the World Heavyweight Championship, no longer the World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H is World Heavyweight Champion once again because, of course, he is. We are in the Reign of Terror after all. Now how it's leading to this match with Orton captaining his team and Triple H captaining his team. Now, as I mentioned, and control of Raw is on the line. Whoever wins this match, they'll be in control of Raw for the next month, aka the next 4 weeks. He's, so he's and right off the bat, there's already trouble on Triple H's side because Edge and Gene Snitsky pretty much said, "And hey, you know what? If we become general managers of Raw and get to run Raw, we're gonna challenge you for your World Heavyweight Championship." If, if, in in theory, shouldn't you have probably waited till after you won the match to tell Triple H that? I feel like he's not like in a kayfabe sense. He's not gonna trust you, who if he has to like constantly look over his shoulder, or because you're gunning for his World Heavyweight Championship. Wait till after the match, just to make your intentions clear. Uh, but like also getting into some of the participants in this match, obviously, like I mentioned, we have Randy Orton, Benoit, Jericho, and Maven. Maven is taken out earlier on in Survivor Series, like earlier on in the show, by Snitsky. And for Snitsky, I feel like 2004 was really his year, or because he showed up immediately. He got a bit of a like big push in a way by going against Kane, causing Lita in storyline to miscarry, and then punting a baby doll into the crowd while proclaiming that it wasn't his fault. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're under a certain age and you weren't around for the ruthless aggression, I'll just come out and say it. The ruthless aggression era was kind of weird, but nevertheless, so Snitsky has got this big monster push, somewhat literally in a way. So this was really like his time. Snitsky was getting a lot of time here, and there's also some crossover feuds here. At this point, Edge has fully turned heel. He turned on Chris Benoit. Uh, uh, Edge had been slowly turning heel. Like it kind of escalated at the aforementioned Taboo Tuesday of 2004 when and because Shawn Michaels won the vote to challenge Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, something that they apparently didn't expect to happen. They expected Edge to be the one to challenge Triple H. Edge and Benoit were unlikely tag team partners to challenge for the champion. To challenge the tag team champions, excuse me, which they did, and Chris Benoit won on his own after Edge abandoned him. Then Edge cost Benoit his and by extension his own tag team title. So Edge and Benoit have been going back and forth. Or Batista still firmly in the camp of Triple H at this point, and Randy, he like I said, has been gunning for Evolution and especially Triple H. So now that we're all here, let's get into the match. So starting with what I liked, some pretty good action. I do like how they kind of uh, they kind of also flesh out the stories he's throughout well, like the ongoing rivalries, I should say, throughout this match. They kind of really add some depth to it. In terms of this match, it's not abandoned just for the sake of this match. We do see dissension among the Reigns, mainly under Triple H's side, especially with Snitsky kind of getting in Batista's face, which does lead to a funny moment. So so Snitsky and Triple H kind of push each other. They have like a shoving match. Batista gets in Snitsky's face. Triple H it gets locked in, I believe, the walls of Jericho. Or it might have been the crossface by Benoit. And Triple H is like, hey, guys, stop fighting. Help me out. So Batista sees this, helps him out, and then immediately gets back in Snitsky's face before they're both taken out by Orton. That I thought was pretty funny. Maven does show back up to try to help out his team, and he takes it to Snitsky, and Snitsky is busted open, so Snitsky just blasts him with a chair. He's disqualified, so he's out, and then just proceeds to attack the rest of Team Orton with the chair. So there's that extra layer. Edge accidentally spears Triple H, and it's one of the things that leads to him being taken out by Randy Orton, and then ultimately Randy Orton does pick up the win over Triple H. So at least Randy kind of got something. He looked kind of like a dolt against Triple H almost the entire feud, but he got something at least. It's a consolation prize. So Randy essentially wins for his team, and they get to control Raw and pretty much just use it to give themselves world title shots. Well, but then again, if you had that power, I'm sure a lot of you would probably do the same thing, myself included, if I'm being honest. But so Randy's team wins, and they kind of come together. And I do like the dynamics where Randy's team very much helps each other out in a lot of ways. There's some bickering, but for the most part, they're able to help each other out. Meanwhile, Triple H's team is more so a clash of egos. It was how they can't really coexist as a team. So that juxtaposition between the two sides, I think, is really well done and really fleshed out. Well, Ric Flair, who I mentioned, accompanied them, gets ejected, and Ric Flair's ejection is pretty funny because the ref ejects him because he noticed him tripping up Jericho. Rick takes his jacket off, is hopping mad, and so he leaves. Then he comes back and argues with the referee some more, or just some absolutely unintentionally and somewhat intentionally funny moments in the match that made me laugh because I'm very easily amused. I won't even lie about that. I am 100% easily amused. But yeah, so the way they really fleshed out the stories and everything, I think, was very well done, and it really adds that extra layer of depth to this and I do like how things played out in terms of that, and the stuff they did throughout the match was pretty cool as well. In terms of what I didn't quite like about this match, Snitsky getting eliminated the way he did by essentially getting himself disqualified, essentially snapping after Maven dared to fight back. It did look kind of derpy on Snitsky's end, and that's probably the biggest push Snitsky would get, which is unfortunate. And so that part wasn't really the best. But other than that, had a pretty good match, pretty decent match, I would say. Hey, probably. what was the point I was going to bring up? Uh, there was one other point I was going to bring up that I wasn't quite as fond of. But I can't quite think of it. It I can't really complain about it too much, but I am not a fan of Randy Orton's trunks. It doesn't really have any bearing on the match itself, but those are some ugly kind of trunks. I'm glad he didn't decide to stick with that design. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to do it for this review. Oh yes, that was the other thing I was going to bring up. I do wish they played up more of Randy's role in Evolution a bit more in this match. They talk about like Randy being attacked by Triple H and waging war against him, but like, they don't really sell the point of Randy formerly being in Evolution and then being kicked out of it. They kind of come close. They kind of allude to it, but they don't really. It's not. They didn't realize it as well as they could have, or excuse me, potentially even should have. So I wish they had kind of delved into that a bit more because I think in terms of in terms of the narrative of the match, I think that could have really helped out. The other thing is that there was a lot of arguing on commentary between JR and Jerry Lawler, which it does get a bit grating at times, but sadly it's not the first time, wouldn't be the last, but it does get a bit annoying. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this match. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on this match? Do you like my review of this match? And did you like the match itself? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.